and they'd like to earn the money back. And that's what they call profit. So I met a private company and I met profit. When I came out of that office, it was by incident that I got stuck in the very, very big demonstration that yesterday was here in Rio. Probably you heard about it or saw it on the television. It was fantastic to see thousands of people that were all claiming that we have to take better care of the ecosystems in order to have also a guarantee for future generations. So I did yesterday afternoon not only meet profit, I also met people. I met many people. And at that same moment here in the conference, Rio Plus 20, people were talking about the planet and were trying to make a declaration about the future of our planet Earth. And as a result, I can conclude that yesterday in Rio de Janeiro, as well profit as people, as planet, were represented in a way. But that does not mean at the same moment that they were really in contact with each other, that they were really talking with each other, and that people, profit and planet, were really understanding each other. And therefore, we think, and that is the basis of Delta Alliance, that we have to organize networks all over the world in order to exchange information, to exchange know-how and experiences, and having deltas improving in the best way. And we try to organize networks in several ways, but one very powerful way to organize networks is doing that via young professionals. And when I state that, I always get the answer, yes, but I am also young. Because anybody experiences him or herself as young, which is fine. But I hope this afternoon that you will conclude from the young professionals that will present themselves here, that working with those people really inspires, really gives new alliances, new ideas, and new types of energy that can help to overbridge the problems and the challenges that we try to solve to the future. These young professionals were contributing to the Young Professionals Award of Delta Alliance, and this afternoon we are very happy to be able to disclose the jury report about what is the judgment, about the many contributions that were sent in. We have a small program this afternoon. I would like to start in a minute with Mrs. Tineke Huizinga, who is the chair of our Delta Alliance, but was also the chair of the jury of this award. After that we get the contribution of Ms. Louise Fresco, chair of the Dutch National Platform Rio Plus 20 and also university professor in Amsterdam. Then we will get 3 presentations of 3 contributions to this Young Professionals Award. And after that, Mrs. Tineke Huizinga, in her position as chair lady of the jury, will disclose the jury report and will give the judgments the jury has made to the contributions that were sent in. We will hand over the awards after that, and it will be closed by the State Secretary of the Ministry of the Infrastructure and the Environment in the Netherlands, Mr. Joop Atsma, who in the end will say a word of thanks, and I would predict that he also will congratulate the winners of this award. And after that, as was already promised to us, we will get the drinks. That will be the program of this afternoon. I'm happy to announce Mrs. Tineke Huizinga. We are very happy to have her as the chair of Delta Alliance. Ms. Hermon lasted political career that she made in the Netherlands, as well in local governments, as in the national government, as well in our Dutch parliament, as in a position in the Dutch government, as State Secretary and as Minister of Environment. Tineke, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to present you Delta Alliance International as a network that has the mission to improve the resilience of the deltas. Deltas are fragile, dynamic landforms at the boundary of land and ocean. At the same time, they belong to the most valuable areas in the world. Their fertile soils and the availability of water have made them to the rice bowls of many Asian countries. Their strategic position close to the sea and their position entrance portal to the hinterland made it attractive to huge economic activities and investments. And the interface between land and fresh and salt water, most deltas have obtained an exceptional biodiversity. These values have, through the ages, attracted many people to the deltas. Therefore, population densities are generally extremely high. The average population density in deltas is about 10 times higher than the world average, and today more than 500 million people live in deltas. Many megacities, such as Jakarta, Ho Chi Minh City, Dhaka, are located in vulnerable deltas. Deltas are valuable, and at the same time they belong to the most vulnerable regions in the world. All deltas are lowlands, within a few meters above sea level, and sometimes, like in the Netherlands, even below sea level. Being situated at the bottom of large river basins, they are often victim of human activities upstream. The construction of dams upstream, for example, can have huge negative consequences for the natural flooding and fertilization of the delta. Overexploitation of groundwater causes in many deltas enormous subsidence rates. In some places in Jakarta, subsidence rates of 15 to 20 centimeters a year occur. And saltwater intrusion as a result of soil subsidence, sea level rise, and decreased river flows is a serious threat to livelihoods in deltas. It reduces the fresh water availability for both drinkwater supply and agricultural production. And these are just a few examples of the challenges deltas are facing worldwide. With increasing pressure from population growth, industrialization, sea level rise, and a changing climate, it is now more important than ever that deltas increase their resilience to these changing conditions. Delta Alliance assists in finding innovative solutions. All deltas worldwide face to some extent the same challenges. But the fact that deltas are also very valuable means that there are also capital investment opportunities and a strong political will to solve these problems. In other words, there is an important adaptive capacity, be it that this adaptive capacity is not equally spread over the deltas. The ambition of Delta Alliance International is to connect people and organizations, to share knowledge, to identify knowledge gaps, to develop and execute joint research and capacity building programs. And the overall mission of Delta Alliance International is to improve the resilience of the deltas. Delta Alliance is a young and dynamic network. We started our activities in 2009 in 4 deltas, and we call these deltas wings. Today, Delta Alliance is a network of 11 wings, and several other deltas want to join us. As I said, Delta Alliance is young and dynamic. And of course, we all, as other speakers stated, we all like to stay young and dynamic, and also Delta Alliance wants to stay that. And therefore, it was with great pleasure that we organized the Delta Alliance Young Professional Award. In this way, we want to make young professionals aware of the challenges in vulnerable yet very valuable deltas. The response on our call for solutions was very positive and encouraging. 53 contributions from 29 countries. Later during this event, the winners of the 3 most promising and innovative solutions will be honored. I want to conclude by thanking the Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment and our other partners for our support, for the support they were giving to this initiative. And I hope that I make a little bit more clear on what the Delta Alliance is doing and can mean for deltas worldwide.
Thank you very much, Tineke Huizinga. We continue our program with the contributions from Louise Fresco. Louise Fresco is a little bit hard to introduce because she is a person that is doing a lot of things at one time. She has been Deputy Director General of the FAO for many years. She has been member of many commissions and boards in the Netherlands, but far not only in the Netherlands, because she's very internationally oriented. One thing to mention probably is that she was member of the State Commission in the Netherlands that reviews the future of the Dutch Delta and reported a few years ago, which was a very prominent report that has great impact on the investments that we in the Netherlands will have to do in the decades to come. She's known as a very strategic player, as a powerful person, as I mentioned, very internationally oriented, and always surprising in her statements. So I'm curious to hear your contribution. This is Louise Fresco.
Thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do is to tell you a little story. It's a story about ecology, about science, and about human commitment. Because deltas are indeed about science, but they're also about people. One of the most vivid memories I have of traveling in the delta was on the Great Scarces River. Most of you may not know it, in Sierra Leone. It's a very wide land of reeds and enormous tidal differences, where people try to make a living growing rice. It's a very difficult environment because the salt intrusions of the water go very deep into the land. The land is flat, it's not very fertile, it suffers from all kinds of scientific problems, not least, of course, the high salinity, but also the high acidity as the land is drained. My guide on that particular tour was a young Senegalese PhD student. In fact, one of my first PhD students when I was in Wageningen. He knew more than anybody else about every centimeter, it seemed, of the delta. He knew the waters, he knew when the tide would come up, he knew it by night, he knew it during the day. He knew to find his way in this very complex ecological environment. We did all kinds of measurements, and in the end, he produced a very nice PhD thesis about the windows of opportunity in agriculture there. But what was more important, he had a vision. He had a vision of what the land would look like. Land that seemed to be so little promising. Land that had no opportunities, no investment, nobody was really interested. And when we discussed in the evenings, as we sat along this river, this big river with the tides going up and down, we would talk about what the land would look like in 50 years' time. A land which looked perhaps a little bit like a tropical Netherlands, with polders, with houses, with roads, and indeed a land that could produce so much. That was his vision. And of course, we've learned in the meantime that balancing the ecology with the economy is one of the most important things we can do. And that's really what Rio is also about. If you ask me in this avalanche of words and statements, the thing that comes out is really how do we make the green economy work? What does it really mean? How can we best translate these statements? And it's in my view, it's in trying to find this balance between ecology and economy, between investment and local knowledge, between modern science and the drive of young people. And it's exactly this idea of getting young people enthusiastic about developing something that may bear fruit not during their lifetimes, or not even during the lifetimes of their children, maybe only generations from there. Something that may not even be the most important part for their own countries, but something that has an application in deltas very far from where they live. And I think the green economy, as we look at it here in Rio, is really about how to close the cycles, how to use the movement, in this case of the tides, how to use the development of the soil, how to find new rice varieties. It's that vision that we need. And we need to train, in my view, young people who have a vision and not just good technicians or architects or good scientists. Yes, science is one of the most important ingredients as far as I'm concerned in the green economy. But it's a necessary, not a sufficient condition. And when I think about the future of green economy, I really think about young people, about investing not only in their training in a scientific sense, but investing in getting the right ideas, in discussion, in dialogue, in exchanging ideas, even ideas that are perhaps not as usual or as commonplace as we would think. That to me is real more than anything else. And of course, when I think along those lines, I think there's still so many things that we need to do today and also in future generations. My little story wouldn't be finished if I didn't tell you the end of it. My guide, this young Senegalese scientist, who actually approached me once at a meeting in Senegal where there was no water and no electricity and the rain was falling on the roof. And he came up to me and said, "Madam, I want to do my PhD with you." And I was quite shocked. I thought, who are you? Do you know anything that could help you to come all the way to Wageningen? Anyway, we managed to get him there. And he was the most visionary PhD that I've ever had. Unfortunately, soon after he finished his PhD, he died of a fatal disease. And I promised him, in the last few months that I was with him, to always carry his image, to carry this idea that whatever happens, we need to invest in visions, we need to invest in young people. And the Delta Alliance to me promises to do just that. In memory of my friend and student, Abe Sela, I hope that all of you will continue this idea that we should look beyond technology and we should look beyond today and go further. Working on deltas is always a long-term issue. It always goes beyond our own lifetimes. So let's remember that. Nature is slow, UN processes are slow, and deltas are slow, even if the tide comes up very rapidly. Thank you very much.